Okay, no laughing now, all right?
Why? Can't I get them open? Oh my God.
Whenever there is risk of breaking a sweat, just have your wife doing it. Also, red is black and plus is minus, always check that. But the reservoir is behind this valve, so when this valve closes, you don't see that pressure. I think that's kind of stupid. They should have mounted this pressure switch actually here. David brought over his Discovery 4 because he still got suspension issues. If you guys watched our videos, you'll remember that we fixed the front suspension on this vehicle. Back then he already had a suspension fault and the vehicle would sometimes not allow him to go in extended mode. Before we could address this suspension fault, we had to fix the front suspension. That's done now and the vehicle still has the fault.
So look what we had to dig out of our garage.
I don't even know if I still know how to use this thing, okay?
I don't even remember the name. Unfortunately, we have to use a jack because our lift is permanently blocked by our Mercedes B-Class. The starter motor is broken and it caused the clutch to disintegrate.
Which you can watch in a separate video,
yes.
How this connects to each other. Starter motor failing and that ruining a complete clutch, okay? There is no sense in going after a compressor or an air leak or anything like that. What gives you plausibility faults where the computer concludes, well, I'm giving you this signal and you ain't moving that, I'm giving you a fault. That's a plausibility fault, okay? And he's got one of those. But now with the suspension already fixed in one of our previous episodes, we know now we gotta go further on the air suspension.
We have never ever replaced the compressor, and that's like the most asked question.
Yes. Okay, because people replace that compressor, okay, like they change their underwear. So you gotta be careful replacing these compressors on the first sign of a problem, especially when you make a Facebook post. Well, did anybody ever had that before? You're gonna get, of course, 20 replies back. Yeah, it's your compressor. No, it's not, okay? If you got slop in your suspension and your valve actuates to raise the vehicle and then it starts to raise and it's just kinking over in the suspension bushing instead of applying that into your height sensor, the computer is gonna think, oh, well, it ain't moving. I'm gonna give you a signal plausibility failure, okay? And that's what we got here. But we already addressed everything in the front suspension and also in the rear suspension. And now recently he has a fault which is called air supply component failure, performance incorrect operation, okay? That's pointing towards the compressor. Then we got a pressure increase too slow when filling reservoir. It's very unlikely that that pressure switch is bad, so that's also pointing towards the compressor. And then we got a fault, air spring air supply mechanical failure. Again, it's trying to get air into the reservoir and the pressure switch doesn't see that air quick enough or that pressure quick enough. Still, before we go ahead and change that compressor, we did check that the little air filter installed here in the fender has actually a free line going into the silencer next to the spare wheel and from there over to the compressor. Because if the compressor can't pull any air in because you got this all clogged up with mud and stuff and you never cleaned your car, it's again not your compressor's fault, okay? If you take something like this to the workshop, it has like a bargain price of $2,500, and at the end of the day, it was not the compressor, it was something else. But they changed everything, and that fixed your problem. But it doesn't need to be that expensive. You can get away with like $500. And now I bought a new AMK OEM air compressor, of course not from Land Rover, 495 euros in Germany. And just in case this is not the problem, I also got the center valve, which includes that pressure sensor. I kept this closed in the box because I'm almost positive this is not the issue. So all I gotta do now is stick this compressor in.
Let's hope so.
The reason we can't put this on the lift and do this job on the lift is actually that this arm is right below the compressor. So if we got it on the lift, we can't.
Oh, we can't do it on the lift anyway.
First step before we work on that air suspension is thinking about, do I need to do a deflate using my gap tool? When you look here at the diagram, we're going to change this component. It only got one line over. That line is going to closed valves, so no air is going to come out when I open this up. Versus if I would disconnect the line from the reservoir, I would have to do a deflate of the reservoir, or it's going to blow in my face and Vera is going to say, oh my God. First step is to disconnect the fuse of the air suspension.
Third one from the bottom.
The yellow one. Now the valves can't actuate anymore and I'm kind of safe, okay? Whenever there is risk of breaking a sweat, just have your wife doing it, okay? Now we're gonna raise the vehicle up here so that I have a little bit more convenient access to the air compressor. You can really get it done also without doing this. But it's a good workout for her, you know, gets her involved and keeps her happy. I just put it under the frame.
I think you should have gotten the big ones.
The small ones are fine, okay? I'm gonna keep the jack in here, everything is good. Okay, there are actually 3 bolts to remove the cover. So this could already be the first debacle for you and they can snap off. I got the camera now looking straight up. Okay, it's this one here. And then this one here, nicely done. There you go. Now for the airlines, it makes sense to use open box wrenches, not 100% necessary, but it makes things easier. It's a good idea to spray some lubrication on here because there is an O-ring behind it. There we go. There we go. See, there's the little O-ring. So one more airline here. I can crank it by hand. There we go. So you gotta be prepared to snap one of these bolts. Looks like it's moving. Okay, that's one of 3. There is also a bolt in here which you can get with a regular spanner, best with a ratchet spanner. I already got that one out off camera. And then there's this one here, which is the 3rd one. That one is easy. There we go. That's a push lock fitting here, so I push it in, pull the line off. There it is. Let's do a component compare. For that, I'm wearing gloves in case I have to return this baby. First view, this is looking absolutely incredible. Here's the connector on here, looks like this. Okay, this looks identical, very good. The compressor looks a little different here. If you look at that, this is not here. Having something is better than needing something, okay? The cable of the new one is a little longer. Looks absolutely identical, so that's good too. Also, red is black and plus is minus. Always check that. The bracketry looks the same. By the way, I didn't pay for this, okay? I ordered only the compressor and I wanted to reuse the bracket. But the company sent me the bracket and this repair kit. Maybe because they didn't have the other model on stock. And trust me, they don't know that I am LR time. Vera isn't around, but I think that would not have gotten us an oh my god anyhow. Before I put this back together, I do a couple of checks. First of all, I'm taking this line here and I'm gonna blow in. I can breathe nicely through that line, so I know it's not clogged. I'm gonna inspect the O-ring right here, and I'm gonna inspect the O-ring right here, even though it's included in my kit. Use a brush and clean this out a little bit here. Now I did buy these large M8 cage nuts here just in case I would wreck one, because the bolts open so tight when you take them out. Sometimes they just crack off and that's very annoying. So, but these are all good. Okay, next step is I'm gonna put some anti-seize on here. I'm gonna put that also onto the bolt. Here you can see that upper bolt, which is a little harder to get to, okay. And brand new bolts came with the compressor from that German company. Put anti-seize on those. And we're gonna put that compressor back in. There you go. There we go. There it is in. Crank it a little. Good. Ratchety spanner. Very important not to clamp that air line behind the bracket, like I was just about to do here. Okay. People been asking me about this Makita. It sucks. Don't buy it. One subscriber actually did send me a new head here, and I installed it. Goes back in here. Ah, my camera girl is back home. That's good. Okay, now new FOS connectors came with the old one, but remember the air actually escaped when I opened this. So this connector is perfect, and it's too risky to take it off. It could destroy something. So old connector stays in. Okay, but we put some silicone grease onto this O-ring here. And then it goes back in here, okay? Okay, don't double thread this, okay? If you can wiggle it like this, you're in the thread. And now you can tighten this connector. Called the FOS connector, as the company who makes them. Give it a little bit of torque. It's just plastic, okay? Maybe 2 Newton meters, that's it. You're not wearing your Land Rover head. Okay, and... or cross thread, I think it's called. A little bit of torque, okay? This is aluminum, so maybe 4 Newton meters. That's it. I gotta plug this back in here, and I'm gonna test it first before I'm gonna do this all 100% nice and final and cover on and stuff. There we go.
Oh my God. A little bit more. Slowly.
There we go.
Good. Start your engine.
Oh, no.
No.
Gotta put the fuse back in.
Oh my God.
Fuse goes back in.
So let's hear if it does any good. If it did any good. Well, it sounds better. Oh, it's raising. Oh my God.
It definitely sounds better than before. Unfortunately, we don't have any footage from the one which was broken. In comparison, that sucks.
Oh, we did not?
You hardly didn't hear it with the engine noise, remember?
Yeah.
It was just like not, it sounded like a Toyota.
So it's also working a lot. Here's the sound.
So here are all the old faults. Those are permanent faults. I'm gonna get me a screenshot, and now I'm gonna clear them. And hopefully no faults coming back.
Oh my God.
Right now it's suspension, no faults, okay? Pumping it up. It got 13 bars so far, okay? And it got to get it all the way up to 18. Here's the compressor temperature. It's increasing. The voltage is good. The compressor relay is obviously on, okay? And as long as this is increasing, everything is good. This reservoir is just extremely empty. There we go. Around 1800 it turned off, okay? And now it drops because it shuts off the valve, and that kills the supply from the compressor to the switch, okay? So if you turn the compressor off, this switch is losing its pressure, but the reservoir is behind this valve, so when this valve closes, you don't see that pressure. I think that's kind of stupid. They should have mounted this pressure switch actually here. Then they could fire this valve, increase it until it has pressure, and then still see the pressure in the reservoir. In my opinion, not a good design. Okay, now with this baby under full pressure, I'm gonna listen now for a leak. Maybe he did have an air tank leak. I know he doesn't have an air suspension leak, okay, because the vehicle stays up overnight forever, over days. Get my leak detection spray.
You mean more expensive bubble water?
It's called Lecksuchspray.
We could have just used soapy water.
Okay, so I'm checking here the front and in the back to see if it's bubbling. Of course, there could be a leak on top, which I don't see, but it's very unlikely. His car does not have a lot of corrosion. So it looks like there is no leak in the front seam and in the rear seam. There's the air valve. So we're gonna check all those connections here. Doesn't look like anything.
Ooh, whoa. Oh.
There's the back side.
Yep, that is.
Okay, so this is all good back here. Here's the front side. It's all good. And here. It's also all good. I think this job is completed. Got all my wires nicely routed down here.
Yes.
And then this thing can go back on.
So most important, smothering everything with anti-seize.
Okay, click, click.
Wait a second. Oh.
Over here, click. There it's closed, there. Solid. Okay, we're also going to replace the relay because a new one came in the kit. Note, I'm going to pull the one from the rear screen heating because I switched them before to rule out the relay. So that's actually the one from the compressor.
Oh, and that's aftermarket.
Okay, and that's some aftermarket. So we rather put the aftermarket onto his rear screen. See, David has the full black grille. And I actually got the grille with that inlay here from Powerful UK.
Yeah, now it's in gyref mode. Looking all good. Whoa.
So comparing this with the compressor from Prince Mallcrawl, and it's also charging in the same speed. Mine is definitely not faster. Okay, a little bit more, a little bit. Okay, I got it almost off.
Yeah.
We're gonna go on a test drive here with this car quickly, and we're gonna keep an eye on the compressor relay to see if it kicks in during regular driving like now. And it should go off also quickly again. There you see, it's gone off again already. It did not turn on during the entire drive up here. I think the problem is fixed, so this completes this video. I hope I find some footage I can add behind the video, okay, because otherwise this is a short one.
Yeah, sorry for the background noise, but it's hot and we need the air conditioning.
I think we're gonna start now on Robin's car, okay, taking that engine down.
Oh my god.
Okay, he always has his air conditioning off. He always has all the vents closed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All the vents are closed.
And he also plugs in his seat belt behind him.
Yeah, we don't show that.
Yeah, like this. And he never has his clock adjusted, okay? And we'll do that as a free service, like everything from LR Time. And this is like in Back in the Future. See? It's going back in time. And I bet he has a camera fault right here. A camera, one fault. See? NOx exceedance. But I saw a message earlier that he's running out of DEF fluid, so maybe that has to do with it. We're done in here.
Good. Oh.
So that's it. That completes the video about fixing that air suspension compressor. Okay, and we got no time. We got to work on this baby now. We got to drop the engine down and put a new clutch in and a new starter motor because the starter motor actually wrecked the clutch. This is my diagnosis, okay? I took the starter motor out and you can see this piece is supposed to be on here. Look at this tiny little starter.
Yes.
And
you should look at the clutch.
So this piece fell into the bell housing and got chewed around one time until it came back up, and that bent the flywheel and probably wrecked the clutch completely. So right now the car is actually locked up.
Can you believe that? That's my parking spot. Also here. Unbelievable, and that's not air conditioning water. There's a drop hanging on. And it's coolant. Well, at least it's not oil. Christian hates it, by the way, when I crumple paper tissues. He folds them. So I have another clonking noise.
And a tiny coolant leak. So
the wheel bearing is pretty new on the other side.
So we'll go for the easy thing first. That's the coolant leak.
Oh my god. That's where my coolant leak is.
Oh, and I can't use the power tool.
No, it's Sunday morning. Maybe I should do that. Yes.
I loosen them for you because I
That's the fun part.
Yeah, you don't get them open. Okay, no laughing now, all right?
Why? Can't I get them open? Oh my god.
But they tight.
Oh, too easy.
But the idea was that while you are doing this, I can clean up our tools. Okay, I put the camera right here, okay, so... Alright. Check that out. These are the pliers we had out, okay, and my good day hammer. Okay, so it's our plier drawer. I gotta put all this stuff back now. This is the man's plier, okay. That's really good. Oh, we even had the synth nips out here to cut little pieces of sheet metal to make his battery ports work.
Oh, look at that. We were looking for that yesterday. And it was, look at that, Christian. It was stacked in our boxes. You know, it was stacked like that.
Look how many boxes we had out. This is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes of stuff we took out.
Yes, and...
These rings are still good. We just put them in a week ago.
Yes.
Making progress.
Yes.
Just checking in. I think I showed you guys this little swivel extension. Look, it's got like a tiny, minute amount of swivel. But when I push it in all the way, it becomes solid. And it also has a hex on here, which is really helpful because sometimes, you know, you can get there with a regular wrench and you don't have the extra room what you need for the ratchet. This thing saved our ass yesterday in one occasion on Fabian's car. Yeah, okay. Any oil? Water.
Water. I bet the critter who lived in our attic decided to. Well, I'll show you guys.
Yeah, because you've been punching with the baseball bat against the ceiling.
So it's definitely up here. So it's not the radiator.
Oh, damn, it's the water pump.
It's a water pump.
How come the water pump is like almost new?
The last thing we did on the coolant system was replace the EGR cooler. So I thought, well, we didn't plug something in like always.
I got a Hecko water pump on stock.
Yes!
Because when we did your engine, we did not replace the water pump. And then I had second thoughts and I wanted to take it on vacation. And then I wanted to send it to Fabian to Spain and I didn't.
Yes.
And now we got it at home.
While we are in here, we'll shortly look for the clunking.
Driveline or suspension? When you steer. That's what I also had. Okay, I'm gonna do a deflate all corners.
Yes.
Get the Hecko pump. It's a really good pump. So, well, you guys see, this is a complete rebuild out of 2023. And the one thing we did not replace, because we do not replace stuff prematurely, pretty much, fails now, okay? The other day we had the AC condenser fail. We had, after our rebuild, the power steering pump fail. We already had a drive shaft center bearing fail after our rebuild. Everything we didn't touch during the rebuild. So if you guys want to get one of these, you know, an old one with 270,000 kilometers, that's what you got. You have to fix something every week. And if you have a YouTube channel and a wife like I do who wants to work on the car, that's the best thing ever.
And if you enjoy wrenching, if that's your goal, if you buy a Discovery like that, to do the wrenching, get yourself a lift. It was like 2,000 euros in all for us.
Okay,
right?
You know your shirt's all dirty here?
Yes.
Check out this pump, guys. This is the best water pump you can buy for the Discovery. It got a bronze impeller. It's like,
propeller. Is impeller?
It's called an impeller, I believe. It's not this cheesy sheet metal stamp piece like on the SKF, which separates and then clogs up all your system. It's called Hepu. I said that wrong, okay?
Hepu, Germany.
Yeah. This is called the weeping something. There's a weeping hole, okay? And this is specifically there when the pump internally wears out, water comes out of the weeping hole.
Looks like a freeze plug.
Okay. Remember Weeping Rock?
Yes.
In Zion National Park?
Zion National Park. Oh
okay,
my
and
God,
we got a weeping pump.
Yes. So he's turning on the ignition and he will deflate all corners with our gap tool.
Okay, if we're looking for a suspension problem, we want to lever around and apply forces and we look for play. That does not work. If the air suspension is inflated, then everything is under tension. So what I'm going to do is to deflate all corners. So you hear the air escaping out of all 4 air shocks.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah, but this is really now, you know, this material tiring out. This is not the normal rip we have. So I need to get you one new boot.
Yeah, that side's still good.
Good. Yeah. So I'm looking. I'm not sure if I got
Oh my God, look at how many suspension parts we have.
Well, we got basically one complete set of suspension parts on a Discovery 3, partially fitting a Discovery 4. I can't find the one we need. So why don't I have it? Did I screw up?
No,
it's not up here.
It must be in a box like that.
No, this is a bushing.
Oh, that's a bushing?
I'm pretty sure. Oh, holy shit. No, that's the one we're
Oh my
looking
God.
for. Oh, no, that's the other one then.
Cool.
Left and right. So these fit left and right.
Good,
Okay.
because we need both. One for left and one for right.
Let me show you guys what we found.
It's coming when I steer?
Yeah, it's when you steer.
Yeah.
Here, I demonstrate it for you. It's very easy, okay? The way to demonstrate if something is moving hard is you have Vera move it. Can you move this?
Oh my God!
See, she is wiggling this. Okay, and now in comparison, can you move this? Try
Yes.
it. Try it so people see it. Yeah, like this. Bend it out like this.
I cannot. Oh. Oh,
See,
yes. So it was stuck.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
don't need to mess around with a gauge or something. You just get her to move it. If she wiggles it like this,
Yeah.
okay, and then she can't move it by hand,
So
it's the
that's
joint.
definitely worn out.
Yeah, so this is another part we did not replace when we rebuilt our entire front suspension. Our long-term subscribers and patrons know that. They pay attention. And then they told me, why are you not replacing these? And the reason is we do not replace stuff prematurely. Prematurely is not good in most
it's not
circumstances, okay? So now we got a nice Sunday content, you know, when it's going to be raining soon. And you
Yes.
guys got something to watch.
And
So
we can work underneath the car.
yeah, we put them in after lunch, and that
Yes.
requires, of course, a steering adjustment with ropes
So are
and
we going to
stuff.
do one video, water pump and steering knuckles, or is that going to be 2 videos?
No, that's one video, I think, because it's one Sunday. Yeah?
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Let's do the water pump first. After lunch.
Okay, after lunch.
Yes. Look what he's doing in the bushes. Oh my God.
I'm peeing in my tank, okay? I got that from David. Thank you very much. We got that baby filled up.
Good.
Okay, just a short update on the Queen. It's gonna go to Land Rover tomorrow to get the steering knuckles addressed. And we're gonna find out if they cover the cost and if they have the parts and how long it takes. If it takes a month or 2 or a year, we'll see what is going on. The Queen was basically now grounded for 6 weeks in a row, and I'm really anxious to drive it again. And this really completes our video this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I want to thank our Patreons a lot for their support, and I'll see you guys next Sunday, hopefully with a running Queen and not with the news that they take 6 months to get the part and fix it. That would be a big debacle for me.